Origin just homes you and this is the Fat Electrician Reviews M2 Browning 50 cal Madus. What's all the Fat version? Yes, I think there are two M2 videos. One is about 50 cal, one is called Stinger. I don't know what the difference is between. I'm guessing the different ammunition. I'm guessing this is one of the most famous one that is, right? The one you always see like mounted with a big barrel and just like with a lot of like, what is it called? Holes in the barrel for diffuser? Diffuser. So this is a 50 cal. The famous one. Apparently, Browning, that guy. I'm sure in one of the videos we see him calibrating and something. The first Browning gun, machine gun, right? He just went insane. He just like fuck it, let's just have 50 cal. Now, because of video games and videos like this, I've been like looking at ammos a lot. Like, what is the difference between different ammos? It's really interesting when you just Google it and things like that. You realize the difference between ammo, because you hear of these numbers. Numbers won't tell you much in video games and things like that. When you see side by side, you realize like how different the ammo is, how big the ammo is. 50 cal is ridiculous. That's how big it is. And machine gun, like that would tear through like walls, right? You have this kind of like like 4-inch, 5-inch like brick walls in construction. Usually that's how it is in like conflicted area and things, because areas are usually like poor and things. You just have brick walls that are like 5-inch wide, and thing like this would basically shred through it. 50 cal. Right, so I'm guessing Browning probably come up with this weapon so nobody can hide behind cover. I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's from the Electrician. I like military style videos. Obviously, I've been watching that a lot, especially equipment ones. And Electrician is like the kind of person who just like can really tell you like hyping it up properly. That you can feel about certain things. So when it comes to weapon, Brandon Herrera obviously is your go-to guy. But when a Electrician talks about it, it's just awesome. This is the one of the type of video I'm missing recently, because he's talk about badass stories a lot rather than equipment. I think he should make equipment video again. So let's watch this one.
One commander of the Marine Expeditionary Forces, John J. Pershing, would request a new weapon to be built. A machine gun that was capable of repelling tanks. For such an impossible task, they would turn to one of the best weapons designers of all time. Moses. John Moses Browning, rather. And what he came up with would become the longest serving firearm in the United States military. Ladies and gentlemen,
oh my god, his middle name is Moses? Yeah, Moses parted the sea. I'm gonna part people with machine guns. Whatever's in the center of that is no longer gonna be there. There you go.
M2 Browning 50 caliber machine gun, also known as Madus. This weapon weighs in at 84 pounds, or 129 if you count the tripod. Uncle Sam's paintbrush over here is capable of shooting 600 rounds per minute. When I say round, we're talking about the 50 BMG round, the big one on the left. A round so large that it's not even considered anti-personnel. It's considered
Wait a minute, 600 per minute? That's 10 per second. Imagine like, dude, look, 1 second, 2 seconds, every second 10 rounds. That is insane. For 50 caliber, that's insane.
Anti-material. Let's go to the dictionary for that. Material, the substance or substances of which a thing is made or composed. I'm trying to tell you that this weapon is literally anti-fucking everything. Pretty much the only thing this weapon isn't effective against is modern tanks. Vehicles? Yeah. Lightly armored vehicles. Pretty much any type of aircraft. This weapon has literally been blurring the lines between cover and concealment for over a century. I'm trying to tell you, this is the type of weapon you want if you ever have to shoot a burglar that's hiding behind your neighbor's fridge. Like, unless you brought your own tank, there's not really anywhere to hide. And it is because of that it's basically become standard US military doctrine to attach this thing to any moving vehicle we have. Now, because this is an anti-material round, there is a misconception that it is against the Geneva Convention to shoot a bad guy with it. I am here to tell you that I have checked extensively, and it is not. I don't even need a catchy line at the end like it's not a war crime the first time, because this just isn't a war crime. I'm not gonna lie, I really think somebody made that rumor up to save money. Because 50 cal BMG costs like $3 a round. At 600 rounds per minute, that's $1,800 a minute to run this thing. So you can imagine how expensive it gets when some anonymous bad guy takes a pop shot at Doc. That grunt's just gonna empty that whole ammo can and hit you with a fucking mortgage payment worth of ammunition. And just so we're clear, this gun kicks like a mule. You can actually feel this thing vibrating.
When it comes to military, like, expenses, like military is expensive, like, come on, people don't think about it that much at the time, I guess.
Hate out of you. Just for reference, in World War I, they wanted to put the 50 cal in planes, but the planes couldn't structurally handle the recoil from this thing. This thing will adjust your aura and realign your chakras. And that's if you're on the good end of it. If you're on the wrong end of Medusa, you're gonna end up dead. I'm trying to tell you, if you get hit with this thing, your new pronouns are gonna be was, were. The next text message you get's gonna be from a fucking Ouija board. In conclusion, the American warfighter and Medusa go together like tweakers and bicycles. With over 100 years in service and no end in sight, it is commonly said that the last M2 gunner has yet to be born. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Most of my shirt designs at my merch store will be going away permanently. I will be bringing in new designs, but this is your last chance to get the designs that are currently there. If you'd like
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is insanity. Whenever we think about M250 cal, like 50 cal machine gun, and that back, like this is like an old machine gun. I was like that, like when it comes to technology, guns always surprises me, like how effective they are, for how like there are explosions happening inside. That's how the ammo works, right? And these things are made to work for like thousands and thousands of rounds before needing any type of a major maintenance. And long before, like, I don't know, decades before this was made. So even back then, people figured out how to make it. Whenever it comes about killing each other, human technology goes way beyond, right? Look at the nukes and things. Like, it feels simplistic, but it's really not. Nukes are like that movie Oppenheimer. If you see it, like, if you don't know anything about like how nukes were made, any science behind it, even watching the movie would give you the feeling like, okay, this is some next level shit. Okay, this is M2 Stinger, USMC weapon, legendary USMC weapon, M2 Stinger. I'm guessing it's different. I'm guessing the same gun but different ammunition or something.
Today we're talking about that time in World War II when the Marine Corps decided they didn't like their standard issue machine gun. So they went ahead and built their own. Ladies and gentlemen, the M2 Stinger. Created from the parts of 3 other guns, this
Oh, okay, look at that. M1 Garand, Browning automatic, obviously. AN-M2, 30 caliber, M1919, okay.
The other guns, this Franken-Gat weighs in at 25 pounds, not including the 100 rounds of ammunition hanging off the side of it. I'm trying to tell you this is a reasonable weapon for concealed carry. Speaking of concealed carry, this video is brought to you by the United States Concealed Carry Association, where for only a few dollars a month you can get professional training, education, and in the unfortunate event you need it, legal help. Look, it's basically insurance for shooting bad guys, okay? Speaking of shooting bad guys, the M2 is capable of firing 1,200 rounds per minute. That is 20 freedom seeds per second. And when I say freedom seed, we're talking about 30-06. That's one of the recommended rounds if you wanted to go hunting bears. And you're—
Ooh, 30-06. This is like a Winchester 308, but slightly bigger, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so basically this would be something like Scar H, which has a 308 style ammo, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But this is slightly bigger. But it like fires 1200s per minute. It's not like 50 caliber. 50 caliber is like much bigger, but it's still significant, right? 50 cal, that M2 50 cal 600 round per minute. This is 12 to 1500. So it's double, right? I guess it depends, right? If you don't need 50 cal, this would be better. Because why have that much firepower when you can shoot slowly? While you can shoot faster with, this is going to be significant. 308 Winchester, like this is one of the famous one because of the video games and things. It's like significant enough, it's powerful, right? Rifles have that, like long distance attack. So this Springfield one is like even bigger than that, I guess.
Hunting bears, and you're gonna fire 20 of them in a second. Look, if you upset the Marine holding this thing, you better hope your family's like Pepperidge Farm, because the only thing they're gonna be able to do is remember.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You're gonna be holier than the Pope
Yes.
in the next text
I
message.
love that. I instantly remember the Family Guy episode. I love how it's just like intensified. You did this and this. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You get's gonna be from a fucking Ouija board. So how did this monstrosity of a grunts and crafts project even become a thing? You see, it all started in 1943 during the Pacific Campaign. The Marine Corps didn't actually have a light machine gun. They were equipped with the Browning Model 1919, which is a great machine gun, but it's also very heavy. It required 2 men to carry it. One guy had to carry the gun and the ammunition, another guy had to carry the tripod and spare parts. And then once a firefight did start, you had to mount the machine gun to the tripod, then get the ammo in it, then start returning fire, all while probably getting shot at from a fortified enemy machine gun position. It was definitely not ideal. Then the Marines would come across a salvage yard with some airplanes in it. In those airplanes were the Browning Model 1919, but these were the aircraft variant that had almost double the fire rate. So Marines being Marines decided that they would strategically transfer that equipment to an alternate location.
Yeah,
Once
it
at
just
that
happens.
alternate location, they equipped it with the butt stock of an M1 Garand, a custom homemade trigger, the bipod of a BAR, and then mounted a 100-round ammo can directly on the side of it. This
There you go. Basically, whenever war starts, only law you have to think about is war crime. Apart from then, everything goes, it's wartime. Oh, am I stealing? It's like, even video games basically tell you, like, yeah, you're playing RPG, loot, I guess. That's what you can do. There you go.
now had double the fire rate of their normal Model 1919 and could be carried by one man as opposed to two, while being loaded, meaning that if they were ambushed, he could start firing right away. It could be fired from the hip or from a prone position using the bipod. Now, only 6 of these were officially known to have been made and used in combat, but it's pretty well documented that they were extremely effective against the enemy. In conclusion, while only 6 of them
You
were ever
think?
made, they will be remembered probably forever, not only because they're fucking cool, but they are a shining example of all the weird, irregular shit the Marine Corps will do to kill a motherfucker. Because at the end of the day, the real weapon is the creativity and the ingenuity of the grunt. Seriously, the 2 most creative demographics on the planet, stoners that are trying to build a bong, and grunts that are trying to kill a motherfucker. Like, if Elon really wants to make it to Mars, all he has to do is tell the Marine Corps there's crayons and bad guys up there. The motherfuckers will be there by next week. They'll fucking walk there if they have to. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at the Fat Electrician.
Yeah, that is so good, man. Marines made it on the field. That is insanity, right? And you can fire it from the hip like a video game thing, right? Whenever people think about this M2 style, machine guns, people think, come on, video games, bullshitting. You have to have a tripod. You can fire it. Apparently, there is one you can't. The Springfield round is not some small round. Like I said, it's like bigger than the 308 round, right? Slightly bigger. And you can just firing from the hip, 1,200 rounds per minute. That is insane, right? You can make some awesome movie with an awesome director, right? I don't know, like one of those big directors. You can really capture the essence of when somebody basically literally fires from the hip and like how scene changes. Firefight is happening, suddenly one guy comes with this weapon. You can really put that into epic cinema. Man, this is awesome. Every time I see this kind of things for survival, basically it's a war. You can boil it down to survival. When it's about human survival, killing each other, people come up with insane things like this. Right, well, if you like my subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.